It's a YouTube video, you know what that means. It's time to speculate where CM Punk will ultimately end up before the end of 2023 or the beginning of 2024. I am Visorbot, and welcome to WrestleFlame. So many choices. WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW, TNA, NWA, or UFC. These are all the potential destinations for Phil Brooks as we patiently await his return to our televisions. Let us explore each of these scenarios briefly and also discuss a final scenario that no one has talked about recently. Well, as far as I know, I wouldn't because I'm super busy with work, but I digress. As it stands, CM Punk currently does commentary for Cage Fury Fighting Championship, CFFC, and has done so for quite some time. Airing on UFC Fight Pass, CM Punk has made multiple appearances for the CFFC and has used his time to make remarks about his career in pro wrestling. One notable time this occurred was at CFFC 125, a week or so after his firing, with cause, from AEW. Punk and his broadcast partner John Morgan referenced this, joking that he ran into Punk backstage and Punk was back with cause. Get it? Punk was fired with cause, so they joked he was back with cause. Okay, whatever. Yeah. Anyways, Punk and his broadcast partners have even dropped hints on his possible future in wrestling. At CFFC 127, on one occasion, John Morgan joked, "Has anyone ever thought of giving Punk his own show, one that would see Punk have control over the direction of the show?" Punk joked that, no one's ever thought of that, and added that you get an entertaining show when he's allowed to do the booking. A clear shot at AEW Collision and its falling ratings since Punk was let go from the company. On another occasion the same night, Punk and John Morgan were joined by Cage Fury CEO Rob Haydack. He wore what looked like a WWE logo in his suit jacket pocket and tucked it in. None of the men spoke on it, but fans did point it out. Impact Wrestling would also get a mention during the same segment, as John Morgan referred to CFFC 127 as being full of total non-stop action, a reference to Impact returning to its original name TNA in 2024. These teases and jokes sent the internet wrestling community into speculation overdrive. But ultimately, this could just be CM Punk having fun with pro wrestling fans. He could decide to stay and do CFFC commentary, and that'd be it. It would be an odd way to go out, but it is an option for him. Billy Corgan's NWA is another place where CM Punk could ultimately end up calling home. According to owner Billy Corgan, NWA has a television deal with a top 20 network, which could see more eyes on the product, potentially building a new audience and fan base. This could lead Punk deciding to go with them, as it's a relatively new company and one of the little guys, and helping build its success would be great for professional wrestling as a whole. But this may have been a higher possibility before the Samhain Coke spot. At NWA Samhain, James Mitchell and a group of unsavory individuals stood around a large table with powder on its surface, simulating the act and use of a particular drug. There's nothing like Coke. This powder room moment caused an uproar, and it's been speculated that this spot was the reason why talks accelerated with NXT, which landed them on the CW network. Given that Punk is straight edge, he may not want to be associated with such debauchery and decide to take a powder on the opportunity. Take a powder? I had to do it. The next promotion is NJPW, Dave Meltzer's favorite promotion. New Japan Pro Wrestling is also another landing spot for the straight-edge superstar that is CM Punk. Although things would be awkward with AEW and NJPW's tight partnership, and AEW and CM Punk's recent split, nonetheless, Punk going to Japan is a possibility. Punk has made it no secret that he loves and enjoys NJPW, and recently, Rocky Romero commented on the possibility of him joining the promotion, saying, "I think that obviously we didn't really get to do many crossovers when Punk was in AEW, Romero said. There was supposed to be that Tanahashi-Punk match that never happened, so I think Punk coming and doing a Wrestle Kingdom or a big show like that could be, I think, great for our product. Obviously, getting fresh eyes and everything that he brings to it, merchandise and everything else." I agree with Rocky Romero that it would be great for NJPW, but if he were to go to NJPW, it would be for a limited time and limited dates, as I don't think that he has much time on his bump card, not to mention the physicality of their strong style. All in all, it would be interesting to see. One of the more interesting places where CM Punk could end up calling home is Impact Wrestling, or in 2024 will be known by their old name, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, TNA for short. For the purpose of this video, I will simply just call it TNA. Over the last few years, TNA has still been active. It has picked up quite a following even in the face of larger companies such as WWE, AEW, and NJPW. It has many partnerships with other companies, including AAA, and have signed talent that didn't go to the big three. CM Punk going to TNA would be huge. There's no denying it. With them rebranding back to their old name and creating major buzz for themselves within the business, the likes they haven't seen since being sold to Anthem, this would be a major positive for the company. There are more pros than cons in this scenario. One of the major pros would be CM Punk bringing more eyeballs, viewership, and interest to TNA. It would no doubt increase fan interest and ticket sales across the board. One of the major cons would be their television channel they are on, Access TV. It's not readily available and not many people watch the channel to begin with. Although fans could watch through various subscription apps, TNA would eventually need a better channel and deal if they want to ultimately increase their exposure. Even with CM Punk, he can only do so much. One of the more likely destinations for CM Punk's return to professional wrestling, and the place where I think he will ultimately end up, is the WWE. Now, to be clear, we all know the tumultuous history between Punk and the WWE, and as it stands, we don't really know if those fences have truly been mended. It was reported back in April 2023, when Raw came to the Allstate Arena before his official return to AEW, that CM Punk was backstage a few hours before the show. It was said that he met with several people, but was eventually asked to leave the arena as a Vince McMahon decision that Punk adhered to without protest. A short video showing Punk outside the arena was later posted on X, showing Punk talking with Tamina. Apparently, while Punk was there, he briefly spoke with Paul Triple H Levesque and several other WWE talent, including The Miz. It was said that his visit was a mea culpa of sort, apologizing to talent for certain spats and issues they had in the past. This event sent shockwaves through the wrestling world, but nothing was more shocking than CM Punk being fired by AEW months later after a backstage fight with Jack Perry. We'll get to that later. Now Punk is a free agent and is able to go anywhere, and it's been speculated that he is returning to the WWE for a final run. Some believe it's happening while others don't. Some believe if it does happen, it will be at Survivor Series 2023, while others think it will be at the Royal Rumble 2024. As I said in the beginning of this section of the video, I believe Punk is returning to the WWE, and he will do so in Chicago at WWE Survivor Series 2023. I could be wrong, but I am excited nonetheless. Finally, and one of the more surprising possibilities is CM Punk returning to All Elite Wrestling. Now, one would think, after cutting a promo and burying the EVPs at a media scrum while eating muffins and sitting next to the owner, getting into a backstage fight with said EVPs, returning months later and then burying them again on television, getting in another backstage fight with a younger talent, and then getting ultimately fired because of it, he would never return to AEW. But never say never in professional wrestling. Ticket sales, ratings, and overall interest in AEW have been trending down since Punk was fired from the company, and there is a correlation. CM Punk is still the top merch seller in the company months after being fired. It's safe to say that CM Punk was doing great business for All Elite Wrestling. Seeing this downward trend, has Tony Khan had a change of heart? It was he who, to this day, says that he has never been in fear for his life until the moment CM Punk and Jack Perry had a scuffle backstage at All In. Seeing how things are going, maybe he wants to fix things with Punk and try to make it work. For a third time. Recently, Fans have speculated that CM Punk is the man behind the devil mask, and this will be his grand return to the company. Even Bully Ray said if it's CM Punk, it would be the greatest work of all time. Hard disagree. It would be desperate, but desperate times call for desperate measures, and I wouldn't be mad at it. Business is business. There is another possibility that I haven't really heard discussed, well, anywhere. What if CM Punk just retires from professional wrestling? It wouldn't be the worst outcome. The man can finally have peace of mind and move on. Him, his wife AJ, and dog Larry. Sometimes doing nothing is better than doing anything. Just be a shame, honestly. His legacy shouldn't be being fired. He deserves more than that. Say what you will about CM Punk, but he changed the business in many ways and has said as much, and it's true. CM Punk will be a legend in this business and an eventual Hall of Famer no matter what he decides to do. That can never be taken away from him, and it shouldn't be. Until next time, folks.